Hello and welcome to a new video. It's October, hopefully the 15th at the time of release, which means that we're midway through our exploration of styles and blorbos that is RandOCtober, the month and a bit long challenge in which I take mine and my friends' characters in one hand, a bunch of cool art styles in the other, and a big old food processor balanced precariously on my knee, and blend it all up with a dash of randomness for flavour. Who knows what struggles and coincidences await us? Well, me, kind of. I've already randomised them, and I've even drawn 16 at the time of recording, and you're about to see them, so let's go! So the 0th entry, typically released on September the 30th, is usually a way for me to demonstrate the idea behind RandOCtober by smushing a bunch of styles into one picture. This year, however, I had paper dolls on my list of potential styles and thought, oh, that's sort of similar. It's one way to interpret a mix of styles anyway. Naturally, as the mascot for my October challenges, my pick and mix of limbs October was volunteered, and it's nice for them to have an extended wardrobe for once. However, the added challenge of this month was to try and do more group drawings, and so their more successful and fashionable sibling February hitched along for the ride. I think I probably missed a trick in potentially adding like customized limbs, but yeah, hindsight's 50-50. Unlike October, who's both near and far-sighted. It depends which eye you're looking at, obviously. Okay, we have Fernard as a Greek sculpture. Oh god, can I feed this man's ego anymore? Okay, fine. After 2 years of slightly weird styles, he finally gets a good one. Are you happy now, Fernard? Are you happy? Of course you are. You've got a sculpture. Oh god. So, Fernard. A man whose scale of sojourns through space pale in comparison to the scale of his ego, Zephodian though he is, he has been rather shortchanged in recent years, having been given either unflattering or peculiar styles. At last, however, his demands have been heard, and that order for 50 variously posed marble statues has finally been delivered to his palatial space mansion. The other 250 are coming later, obviously. Rest assured, the sculptor's ensured to make these 100% physically accurate and not overly flattering. This is absolutely anatomically correct. Completely so. The towel might be removable. Righto, next up we've got Briar and Rose as fighting fantasy illustrators. Ooh, they could look real cool, atmospheric. I put specifically sorry, I should specify. Briar and Rose are a couple of tiefling characters of my friend JustMissArt, who draws them exceptionally well, so I'm glad I got a style very different to what they do, because I could not compare. However, I did explicitly add Russ Nicholson, because I believe he passed away this year or last year, and he did a bunch of illustrations for the Fighting Fantasy books, and they're really good. I love all those old fantasy, sort of pre-Lord of the Rings films, you know, before fantasy got cool again. I love all those sorts of illustrations. So we're going to see how we can make Briar and Rose look all neat. I wonder what their encounter's going to be. How would you find them? Ooh. So this was a style I was really looking forward to doing, and spoilers, you can probably tell, I might have put a bit too much work into this one. In fact, this picture ended up having so many individual lines that the time-lapse and its backups completely filled my hard drive when I was working on it. Still, this was a big old trip down memory lane, having played a bunch of those old fighting fantasy books as a wee cresp. And hey, I enjoyed doing this one a lot. Maybe I'll do more characters and make a book out of it? Maybe? That's a joke, I'm not doing that. Or am I? No, it's a joke. Or is it? Yes, it is. It is. But maybe? No. Yes? Maybe? No. Probably shouldn't, no. But maybe. But I mean, I could. I honestly don't even know anymore. Regardless, Briar and Rose are having a lovely little gossip over a glass or 12 of wine as their cat looks on in typical feline contempt. Oh, there's a cat there, by the way. They're hidden in the shadows. Don't know if you noticed. Well, I did have to draw them, but then you didn't have to pay attention to the time-lapse, did you? I mean, you did have to pay attention to the time-lapse. Why are you watching this video? I don't know. I'm not in control of your life. Don't tell me to tell you what to do. And now we have Durgesh in the style of Beatrix Potter. Oh, it's gonna be kind of sweet. Happy little lizard friend hanging out with some rabbits. Oh, I want Durgesh to have a lovely time. Oh, it's gonna be very sweet. So having been using Clip Studio Paint for the vast majority of my illustrative workload over the past 4 or 5 years, I stumbled upon a more physically modelled arty program called Rebel, claiming to more accurately model the feel of real paint on real paper. So when Beatrix Potter came up in the randomizer, I naturally jumped into its watercolour sim and got to work. Now this presented 2 problems. 1, I don't know how to use the program, and 2, I don't know how to use watercolours.
Not to mention the fact that Beatrix Potter is generally indifferent to painting giant humanoid reptiles. So while this might not be the most convincing painting you ever did see, at least little baby Durgesh has much cake and he seems very happy with that. As well he deserves. Look at his big little face. Deserves a squinch.
Righto, we have the outliers in the style of Cuphead. Okay. Well, it remains to be seen as to whether or not they're going to be in the style, if they're going to have cups for heads. I guess it's just old style animation-y sort of thing. Either way, this is a lot of fun. Do you know, actually, this is reminding me, I did that comic of Bendy and the Ink Machine, so maybe I could use that as like a starting point? Because I really like their designs in that. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I've drawn my long-suffering quartet in a number of styles at this point, universe hoppers that they are. Still, I had a good time simplifying, roundifying, and generally rubber-hosifying them down into such pure and bouncy forms. M's having a whale of a time just hopping around and generally being real bouncy of limb. Rufus is having a less good time. I'd say he's struggling with the controls, but frankly, that's just true in real life. Mel doesn't really know what's going on, but he can shoot a laser from his fingers now, and he's on a mission to make that someone else's problem. And Stoic found a plane and a bow tie. Good for him.
Okay, we have Badruk, in the style of Oddworld. How do you get a bearded dwarf to look like a slippery looking? What exactly are the things in Oddworld? I don't know. But I'm sure I can find something in that world that feels Badruk-y. I mean, I think he's the executive of a company. He could be one of those Murdochen? I'm working on 20-year-old memories. It's been a while since I've played that game. But yeah, no, this is interesting. He won't be stuck behind a desk this year, that's the point.
Now, back with Fernard, I'd mentioned that he was a little short-changed in the style department in previous years, but I don't think anything can quite beat Space Dwarf Badruk's semi-appearance last year in the only height-limited style I've ever attempted. Still, he's pulled himself up by both his bootstraps and the arms of a conveniently located office chair and gotten behind a new desk in the offices of the newly refurbished Rupture Farms. I'm sure under new management that this company will have a much brighter and significantly less murderous future. Maybe. I don't know, never trust a CEO. Except this one, maybe, he seems nice.
Okay, next up we have Pippin and Stumped in the style of Winx Club. They're gonna look so fashionable. Ah, yes, zombie and ghoul in fashionable clothing. Malachi could take a bit of a break this month. I'm looking forward to them. I think they're gonna have a grand old time. Not that I'm implying they're not fashionable already, but this is just the icing on the cake, surely.
Having spent 3/4 of a year looking at Winx Club outfits for the purposes of my Malender, this prompt finally forced me to look at the people wearing the outfits, and boy, what proportions they have. Long of leg, thick of lip, thin of limb, and full of sass, these girls presented a bit of an issue when transplanting their forms onto a couple of undead husks. Still, a little makeup here, wardrobe change there, little tutoring on how to pose in front of the camera, and 3 industrial vats of glitter later, we've got ourselves a shoot. Not sure they're really ready to join whatever the Winx Club is yet, but I'm willing to believe in a world where little children all over the world scribble doodles of a couple of glam ghouls in their pink fluffy notebooks at school. Ah, what a world that would be.
Right-e-o, we have Pal, in the style of Goblin. Yes! Pal's gonna be a true goblins. It's gonna look all goblin-ified. It's gonna be in the labyrinth. Ooh, Pal's gonna have a lot of fun in the labyrinth. Yeah.
One might be tempted to believe that being given a good old cheery little goblin friend such as Pal to be painted in the style of famous goblin painter Brian Froud, that this would be a match made in whatever the Jim Henson version of Heaven is. The Afterfelt, something like that. Anywho, the issue we have is that gorgeous and imaginative as Froud's work is, it's not usually cute. And Pal's pretty darn cute, so I had to tread a thin line with this one between the otherworldly, beady-eyed peculiarity of Froud and the friendly, wide-eyed dootliarity of Pal. I hope I did them justice. They seem to be having a whale of a time, at least. Or is that existential panic? It's kind of hard to tell, really. Also, Sir Ribbit's here. He has a leaf crown.
Okay, we have Atlas and Meanie in the style of Matthias Skutnik. So, Atlas and Meanie are a couple of characters of my friends ChibiNetherlands and DarkSunRebel, and Matthias Skutnik is an artist who made a bunch of online games, including the Submachine and Daymare Town series, and is also a comic artist, so I got a bit of variety here. Although I'm very fond of these sort of submachine or Daymare Town styles, those sort of almost scratchy, dotty, thick line art and all that sort of stuff. They could look cool. I can make them look cool. Should I make this in Flash? Is Flash still around to make things in? We'll see.
Having been subsumed in my teenage years in the world of flash point and clicks, literally thousands of rooms escaped under my belt, I felt it pertinent to add one of the foremost artists of the genre to my lists at some point. The issue with Mr. Skutnik's work, however, is that he doesn't often draw people. At least not humans. Submachine is almost entirely barren of figures. Daymare Town is populated with squiggles of all sorts of shape and sizes, and I don't know much about the Revolution series, but they look like goblins to me. Better luck next year, pal. So I decided to impose upon the clearly rather lost Meanie and Atlas a cross between the Covert Front and Daymare Town styles, and just surround them with brickwork and pipes. It does the job, I reckon. Actually, are they lost? I don't think they're lost. You might be lost, though, and they've just found you, and they're gonna make that your problem.
And now we have Evie in the style of Tetsuya Nomura. Ooh, yeah, no, that could work. Evie is a kind of fun, sort of possessed, punchy friend, a Final Fantasy protagonist. I'd be interested to play Evie's adventures in the world of insane JRPGs.
Not enough belts. I'll get it out of the way now. The final image does not have enough belts or zips. We all know this. If a Tetsuya Nomura character doesn't have between 20 and 80 belt buckles or zips to fiddle with, they will die of boredom within the hour. Still, Evie, I think, deserves a cool late 90s, too many trouser folds kind of look. I can see them as a character in Final Fantasy VIII, you know, wandering around the world, happily oblivious to whatever the hell the plot of that game is. Maybe living in Dollet, chilling out on the seafront, saying hello to the local stray animals. Yeah, that seems nice. Well, and until a house gets smashed by a giant mechanical spider. Okay, we'll ignore that bit. That didn't happen. AU.
Okay, now we have Lucie and Rowan. Oh my god. The style of Yoshitaka Amano. Okay, so, point number 1. Lucie and Rowan are centaurs. And point number 2, Yoshitaka Amano's artwork is extraordinary. So here's a challenge. Try and make this work. Now I'm just imagining, I think it was the first piece of art I saw by CrossroadArt, whose characters these are, was Lucie just absolutely surrounded and covered in mushrooms. And, that's a very Amano thing. That could be very colourful and, I don't want to, how much work is this going to take?
To finish off our Final Fantasy duology, I am gifted the opportunity to draw 2 centaurs in the famously very easy style of Amano, who also embraces physical media. So back to Rebel we go, attempt number 2 this month. I think this one was more successful, but not hugely Amano-y. No issue with the program, of course, just my self-intimidation with regards to splashing around strong colours. It always meant this was going to be a tough assignment. Still, as centaurs go, this wasn't too bad. And embracing the sort of flora-fungi dichotomy of the characters, I got a bit of colour in there. Doesn't look like a cheese dream though, so better luck next time. Maybe a very mild cheese, like Edam or Jarlsberg, when what I really needed was stinking Bishop.
And now we have Ixtzi is a medieval embroidery. A medieval embroidery of a dinosaur. Yeah. Okay, question. Medieval embroidery of a dinosaur. We all know how medieval people thought they could draw cats or dogs. How accurate does this have to be? I kind of want to do one of Ixtzi and then one of what I think somebody in the medieval times would actually draw of Ixtzi. Or embroider, I should specify.
Now, I'm not one of those young Earth believers because, you know, science. But even those nutters would have a hard time believing that dinosaurs were around in the medieval era. Then again, that is definitely an episode of Cadfile I'd watch. Still, I tried my best to imitate the shapes and forms that embroiderers of the day imbued to their depictions of animals, like horses and geese and such. I mean, that's basically how you make a dinosaur, right? You mix the build of a horse with the attitude and legs of a goose. Some feathers too, yeah? Give it a leather jacket and boom! Budget Jurassic Park right there. Yeah, actually, hang on one sec, I'm gonna write a Cadfile fanfic.
Righto, we have Tori, Flynn and Luna as Guacamelee character. Oh yes, the fighting trio. Is Flynn a chicken? I don't know. Either way, bloody luchador wrestler Tori. Not sure how Luna fits into all this. I'm sure she did just tiredly. But hey, I didn't know what I was doing putting these three characters together because they're all quite different. So honestly, I'm actually really pleased to have a style as bizarre as Guacamelee. I'm a big fan of the games, by the way. Check out Guacamelee. It's good, but also the visual style. I'm loving it. Well, I'll get back to me after I finish trying this.
Guacamelee is a fun, colourful time full of fun, colourful friends who are, for the most part, ready to punch your fun, colourful face so hard that you'll be able to smell the back of your fun, colourful neck. This little group of friends, though, are largely non-combative. Luna would really rather have laid in today. Tori, while enthusiastic about fitness, isn't too keen on the whole punching thing because, well, hooves do a lot of damage. And while Flynn would throw himself into absolutely everything with maximum aplomb, it's more accurate to say that he'd throw himself around everything. Not much surface tension, that boy, that's his problem. He's more of a status effect than an opponent. But non-combative though they may be, if you saw them at the end of a dark alleyway running towards you, I would not blame you for running in the opposite direction.
And now we've got Hortense. Ooh, and a Greek vase. They were in a medieval tapestry last time, weren't they? They're going back in time. Yeah. Pretty sure the Greeks didn't have crossbows. So maybe we're going to have to give them a longbow. I'm not quite sure that fits. Well, they were a tracker. Yeah. We can work with this. We can work with it. Hortense can look cool in basically any style. They are slowly getting more and more primitive. The one they're going to get next year is a bloody cave painting.
Hortense, whose portraits seem to be travelling further and further back in time, has now managed to go so far back that her trusty crossbow hasn't really been invented yet, at least not as compact as she's used to, and has thus devolved into using a regular bow. Still, hunting and tracking was always a good skill to have, so I'm sure she'll feel right at home. As a slight aside, I always try and sign these pictures in whatever style seems suitable for the prompt. Usually this involves manufacturing a facsimile of the title or signature of the original work or artist in my name. But this one, well, put it this way. I now know a not inconsiderable amount about the evolution of the Greek alphabet, and that's not an afternoon I'm getting back, so I want you to appreciate it, okay?
Okay, and we have the goons in the style of Quentin Blake. Oh no, now I want sort of like Roald Dahl-esque adventures with the goons. It'd be very silly. I want to see them. I want to see Wick running around causing mischief and Gabe holding him back. And oh god, Gregori. Gregori is a Quentin Blake character. He's lifted straight out of that. Oh yes, absolutely. The shenanigans. The implied shenanigans.
Goons! Who doesn't love a good gaggle of goofy goon guys? They may believe themselves to be professional hands for hire, ready to competently and discreetly do whatever it is they do, but frankly they're not kidding anyone, least of all me. So as far as I'm concerned, Quentin Blake is the ideal person to be illustrating them and their shenanigans. Unfortunately, he was busy doing, world-class illustration or something stupid, so you have me instead, doing this for 5 people on Tumblr. Anyway, third shot at Rebel, and I think I'm starting to get the hang of it. Ironically, I think I did try a little too hard with this one, didn't end up messy enough. I tried to stay inside the lines like a fool, but hey, most of them seem to be having a great time. Most of them.
Righto, we have Kleos. Ooh, stained glass. That kind of works. That's pretty cool. Yeah, they've got that kind of like shrouded sort of, I was going to say evangelical sense. I'm not entirely sure that's correct. But nonetheless, I reckon this could work. Gonna have to try a little bit to sort of pull it away from like the visions of the Virgin Mary. But we can make it work. They can look really cool. They can look really cool like this. I'm excited.
And for the last of the first half, we have Kleos, the stone-skinned poet now immortalized in stained glass. Well, fake stained glass. Anyway, it's not real. Well, not like perspex fake. Just I mean like digital. But well, not like a hologram sort of. Actually, that would be kind of a cool idea. Hologram stained glass, but not that. It's just digital paint is what I mean. But not like Rebel. Rebel obviously that's got its own physical modeling, digital paint. I'm talking about color, just flat colors in clips. Why am I talking about this? Anyway, I think it turned out okay. I tried to lean into some of the character symbolism, but it was about this point in the month that I realised I absolutely needed to get a move on, and so I couldn't go as bombastic as I would have liked with the decoration. Still, the cracks in the face paint worked out quite nicely. Well, nicely for me, anyway. I'm sure Kleos would rather not, but they're a window now. They don't have a choice. And that's it for the first half of the month. If previous years are anything to go by, I'll see you at the tail end of November for the second half, right after I've recovered from my post-October exhaustion. I mean, I prefer to call it hibernation, but my doctor was very clear last time that it is actually exhaustion. Anyway. Thank you to my patrons for keeping me going through all of this and seeing little sneak peeks of body parts throughout the past month or so. And I'll be back sooner than you can say... You know, actually, I probably shouldn't tell you, because then that way you can't say it before me, so... I win. Right, enough blather. I've got peeps to paint. Look after yourselves, everyone. Goodbye. Goons!
Speaking from the chest. No, not speaking from the chest, I'm dying. I'm dying.